got laid off from my marketing job that I worked for like 7 years. It's better if you can to take the risk and do what you're passionate about. I'm thinking about selling these in pairs to do, so I had taken a few interior design classes online. I have to make this into a book sleeve. I think I'm gonna make it into like a little coaster, cozy coaster. Hey, hello. It's been quite a long time since the last time I made a video. You know, life just really got ahead of me. I thought, why don't I just, pick up the camera and start recording. I know I had made like a little YouTube post on the timeline thing talking about how, there's some changes that happened in my life. I got laid off from my marketing job that I worked for like 7 years, which was really sad. Ever since then, I was kind of going through this like weird mindset thing of like, am I good enough? Is marketing something I want to continue to pursue? Just all these things. And honestly, I was feeling that like a few months before the layoff actually happened, because the whole team kind of got the vibe that something was happening, and they laid off the entire company. By the way, it wasn't just like my team. The whole company was laid off. We were acquired a couple years ago, so it was kind of like, it's always like a toss-up when it comes to being acquired by a larger company. On one hand, it's like, wow, you worked so hard to get your small little startup to a position to be acquired by a larger company, but then it happens, and then there's just so many changes that happen. So anyways, prior to actually being laid off, I kind of got the vibe that something was happening, and so I started thinking about all the things I wanted to do. Like, is marketing something that I want to continue to pursue? Do I want to do something else? And I did want to do something else when I first was going to school, or like right before I chose like where I wanted to go to college and what my major was going to be. Like, I've always been a creative person, and obviously I have my small business, so I push my creativity into my small business. I do that in many ways. And like when I first started my company in 2018, but like it was official in 2019, I was coming off of working at Etsy, so I kind of knew some of like the handmade things and all the different type of products you can make and stuff. So when I first established my company, naming it Quien Soy was one to talk about who am I as a person. Who am I? Like, I'm Puerto Rican. I grew up not speaking Spanish, and a lot of times I was always like made fun of for not speaking Spanish. My identity was kind of in crisis where I didn't know who I was. It was kind of like that, but then also I wanted my shop to be a space where I will be able to make a bunch of different products. Like originally I really wanted to get into streetwear. I love streetwear. I always used to like thrift or like go into Soho or like wherever in New York City and try and find like really nice clothes. And anyways, I had wanted to get into clothes, just streetwear specifically, nothing like cutesy. It was very saturated in like the 2010. If any of you guys are as old as me, then in the 2010 streetwear was just like booming. Yeah, like I really wanted to get into that. I thought, okay, maybe not right now. Maybe I should do something that is simpler. So I got into candles. The idea was that eventually I would get into different things, which I'm doing now. I'm sewing. I added like room sprays. I'm doing stationery and stuff like that. I'm doing those things, and like I started learning ceramics or pottery, and I have a pottery wheel. So eventually I would like to come out with like a ceramic line that I make myself and do everything myself. Eventually that'll become unsustainable, so eventually I'll have to figure out like what will work best for me. Like, do I continue the small business journey or what? But anyways, so yeah, like when all this was happening, I was like, I really don't feel happy doing marketing. And in a way it is creative, but it's not creative enough for me. I was really like contemplating what to do, so I had taken a few interior design classes online during this period of not knowing what's happening but still being employed, and I really liked it. And it was just intro classes, it's like learning architecture and like just very basic terminology for interior design or just design in general. In a way, even though being laid off, or the idea of possibly being laid off soon, was scary, because I do have a family. I have a 2-year-old and I have my partner, so the idea of losing my job was a big deal. Financially. And so I was still thinking, like, well, what can I do? This isn't what I want to do. So I talked to my partner, and we had a long discussion about it's okay to want to change careers at a time where there is some disruption in the normal routine. And we talked long and hard about it, and eventually he convinced me really to decide to go back to school. So I decided to go back to school for interior design. It's technically called interior and spatial design, and I decided I was going to also minor in graphic design because graphic design will just help me build out my portfolio in a professional way myself, also for my small business, and just in general, like having the skill set to be a graphic designer and to work all those programs and just have that kind of like how to build creatives mindset and skill set is very important as a marketer, but also as an interior designer or designer in general. So I'm doing that, and I started this past September. Going to school in upstate New York, I go into classes 2 days a week. It is full-time, so I'm formally laid off. So right now I am just doing freelance marketing, so like freelance contract part-time work, so that way I can make money. I also have my small business, which I don't make money online because I don't promote my online shop enough and in a way that makes sense to actually get traffic to my website, and that's simply because I don't have the time and I don't put in the time to do it. Having a child, going to school full-time, doing like freelance stuff, and just like life, dealing with the emotions of being laid off, imposter syndrome for being 32 in a school that is majority 18 to 21-year-olds is also an adjustment. I just haven't had the time, but I have been doing pop-ups here and there.
And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too.
I have been making money a little bit here and there from those things, so yeah, it's been interesting. I love going back to school, surprisingly. It is very tiring. I go in at 8 a.m. and I leave at 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday. I packed in 4 classes for each of those days, so it's a very, very busy schedule. So because I already have my degree in marketing, I don't have to take a lot of the prerequisites, but I do have to take a lot of art history, drawing classes, and just like kind of those like learning the technical skills behind designing, so like the drawing and sketching and just 2D design, all that stuff. So it's been really fun. I'm taking a drawing 1 class, a 2D techniques class, a imaging 1, which is like kind of like an intro to graphic design in a way, like you're learning Photoshop and just like different ways to use Photoshop. So it's kind of cool. We're actually working on a album cover project next, so that'll be really fun. And then I'm taking an art history, a modern art history class, so that's also interesting. Like with interior design, you have to know art history, you have to know art, because there's going to be people, clients that know art really well, and they want to know that you know that and that you can help them with designing their home, either based on those art pieces or finding art pieces that will work well in their home based on their personal tastes. It's been fun so far. It's been a lot of work. I've tried really, really hard to put my best foot forward, and I think I'm feeling a lot of imposter syndrome for sure. Yeah, it's just like odd being the oldest student there. It's really like really odd. That's a huge update. I did technically make a separate channel for interior design stuff, and I think I do want to post more of the specific interior design stuff there, then have this channel as like a lifestyle slash small business slash like interior design behind the scenes kind of channel, I guess. Kind of like you're gonna see some interior design things, you're gonna hear me mention it, but also this is like my other part of my life and also small business part of my life. So, and then that stuff will just be like specifically interior design, I think. So I don't know, if you're interested in following that channel, it's Casa Animo. I'll put it somewhere over here, but yeah, I decided that I was going to make a separate channel for that because I wanted it to just be very specific. It's like a different audience. You guys aren't following me for interior design. I have been posting some shorts on here that are specific to like my classes and stuff like that, just so you guys can see like, you know, what I've been up to. But if you want to follow, go ahead. I think eventually I will post more. I'm not doing any intro interior design classes yet. I'm not doing studios. I'm doing that next semester. So it'll definitely be more fun once once I'm like at that point, because then I'll be getting into the nitty-gritty and that'll be really exciting. So anyways, I have a pop-up this weekend. My apartment is a mess. You can see boxes because we are moving pretty soon. We move out of this place November 10th. This place is nice. We've had it for 3 years. It's a 2-bedroom with a loft upstairs, and it's just like, it's actually kind of a big space up there, but there's no bathroom, there's no windows, and there's no doors to any of the rooms. It's like one big room and then 2 very small rooms on the side. I'm using one of the small rooms as a pottery studio. But yeah, there's no like ventilation. We need a 3rd bedroom because, you know, we have a child. We need an extra bedroom, so this new place has that. It's also kind of like a townhome situation where it's an apartment, but it's like a townhome where like living space is all upstairs, but we have an attached garage. We have neighbors on either side, but it's just a siloed building basically. So we have our own entrance, we have a garage, and then we do have the 3 bedrooms that we wanted, and we also have a little balcony, which will be nice to just be out there when it's nice outside, and maybe to have like a little mini garden. It's not a big balcony, but you know, it's enough to grow some herbs or something. That means that our space is going to be dismantled soon. That also means I have to go through that unit there, which is where I store all of my fabrics. I also have a ton of fabrics on the side here, which I'm not going to show you because it is a hot mess. Like bags of fabric, things that have already been cut, you know, a lot of projects that are like halfway done. But I do have to go through all the fabric to pull out the things I'm going to need ASAP, and then pack away the things that I'm not going to use, so that way it could just like safely be transported. But I do have a pop-up this weekend that I need to finish prepping for. I still have a lot of candles left from my last pop-up because the weather was weird, so the turnout wasn't that great, so I do have enough candles. I do technically need to make some more fall candles because those I pretty much sold out of. And then also I ended up sewing more book sleeves, so I should make a few more of those because the last pop-up I sold mostly book sleeves. And then also keychains. So I make keychains as well. This isn't one of the ones that I brought with me, but they essentially look like this, and I have a bunch of different fabrics that I use. This one is just like plain purple, but this was one of my samples that I have made, but I have like other really cute fabrics. Like this one isn't complete, of course. It has to be sewed, but this is like one of the fabrics I have. It's like very floral, renaissance-y, you know, very romantic type of fabric. But I have to make a bunch of those because I was selling those like crazy at my last pop-up, which is great, but yeah, I didn't expect that. So I was selling mostly things that I sewed myself. I did run out of my satin scrunchie, so I need to make more. I have a bunch of different like satin fabric, but I haven't like really stocked up on all of it. But I really wanted neutrals, so I had bought this satin fabric that has the ribbing. I don't know if you can really tell, but it has this ribbing, and this one is like a sage kind of green. It's very light, but I love it. It's like very neutral and pretty, and the ribbing is nice. And then I got a black version because I just wanted something that was plain. And then I also have a cream one here that is also like really nice. And I sell through these really fast. So I just want to get a couple of each color made, so that way I have that for this weekend. And then also I've been testing this new product. I thought it would be really cute. Obviously, I am not the brainchild behind something like this. I think as all small business owners, we're always on TikTok or Pinterest trying to find ideas of like what we can make for our small business, what works for us and like within our skill set and stuff. So I saw someone making a cozy coaster, and I thought, well, I have all this fabric that is like, you know, in pieces. They're not like big enough to make bags or like book sleeves or makeup bags or anything, but I could totally make them into like little cozy, you know, like coffee coasters, or cozy coasters is what I'm calling them. But they have like this little hook that you can like hook them up, which is really cute. I'm thinking about selling these in pairs, or like putting a deal, like a bundle deal or something. I just don't know how much I should charge for them. I'm thinking maybe like 2 for 16 or something like that, because they're like super cute. But I thought this fabric was really nice and cozy. This is also a new fabric that I got. I haven't made into anything. Actually, I did make a book sleeve with this, and it sold in the last market, so I should make another one because people really liked it. I also have this other fabric that I got, and it's, oh, or does it matter? I guess they're kind of in every direction, but it's so pretty and it's so fall. So I need to hurry up and make it because fall's almost over. But I also think that this is something that you can buy any time of year. and I do have a lot of it. So I have to make this into a book sleeve. I think I'm gonna make it into like a little coaster, cozy coaster. These are really easy to make. They are pretty quick. So I'm going to make a few of them. Maybe I'll make 4 of each fabric that I want to bring, and then just see how they do. And then if it's successful, I'll make more. But yeah, I'm gonna test it out this weekend, I think. So today's Wednesday, October 22nd. I have a pop-up on Saturday, and I have class Friday. So I have homework for class, for my Imaging 1 class, and it's just messing around in Photoshop. We have an exercise that we need to do, so I'll have to do that. Yeah, that's kind of like the update. It was a very long update. I'm sorry. 20 minutes. That's a long time. Yes, that. I'm just gonna throw this up, and yeah, I'm excited to be back. I'm just gonna like post whenever I can, and again, like if you want to follow Casa Nemo, feel free. I definitely will be posting more there and talk more specifically about interior design and all the things I'm learning, and as I learn things, maybe teach you guys. Maybe it'll inspire you guys to go back to school or go for interior design or whatever it is. But I highly recommend pursuing your passion if you can. It does not matter what age you are. You can do whatever you want at whatever time, but it's better if you can to take the risk and do what you're passionate about, so that way it doesn't feel like you're working a day in your life. And I think that that's really important, and it's never too late, because I'm still struggling with the idea of being like 32 in school, but it's never too late. And yeah, I hope this inspires you guys to pursue your passions. But I'm going to head out now because I have to, not head out, I'm staying home. But I'm going to continue to make my scrunchies, and then maybe move on to the cozy coasters, and then figure out my inventory for candles for this weekend. I still have today and tomorrow to kind of work through this stuff, and then Friday night to kind of work through it. So I'll be doing all that stuff, and then maybe I'll vlog the pop-up as well, which I haven't done in so long. I don't even know where the charger to my camera is, so I have to find everything. But anyways, I will take you along to the pop-up, hopefully, if I remember and I'm not too busy. But I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.